a lot with environmental education the past couple years, and we're starting to branch more into the STEM field because we've seen there's a lot of interest in that. Personally, I've been here for 2 years, focusing on our civic engagement programs that connect students in North America and Central and South Asia. We've been running a program between students mostly in the US and Afghanistan, now starting its 3rd year. This year we're also expanding that program to schools in Pakistan. And then we have a very similar program that Brian and his school is a part of that's connecting schools in North America with schools in Jordan, and focusing on cultural exchange, media literacy, understanding different perspectives and biases, and global citizenship, trying to motivate students to care about the world and act to change their local and global communities. A lot of our programs that I work on are year-long, and that's the program that Brian and his school are part of, which is a bigger commitment, but we provide the curriculum and the professional development and sort of the structure and connect the schools together so that they can build the partnership and create a relationship between the students. We also offer short-term programs, which last anywhere from a day to a week, that might have 1 or 2, maybe 3 quick sessions, with also a small project-based learning curriculum on different subjects, current events, and hot topics of the time. This year we're offering short-term programs on the crisis in Syria, marking 20 years since the Rwandan genocide, looking at bullying in schools, something on gun control. So that sort of hopefully gives you a sense of the range of those options. And we try to have those different formats, both short-term and long-term, to meet the needs of the different communities that we work in. We understand that some schools have a lot more flexibility than others in terms of scheduling and making adjustments, and some want to be able to incorporate a full program into the day of their students' lives, and some people, even if they want to, just don't have that opportunity within the school system. Another challenge we do deal with is time zones, and I'm sure you're aware of that, and maybe Brian told you in the session that he was in on Tuesday, we were spanning 10 different time zones. We had some teachers who woke up at very early in the morning to connect at 5:30 a.m. Pacific time, and then we had time zones from all across the Americas and connecting with partners in Jordan who it was late in the day for them. So that's one of just the many structural challenges that we face, also language and cultural sensitivities, but through working with local partners, both other nonprofit NGO organizations and through schools, we're able to really overcome a lot of those. Some of my favorite success stories Brian asked me to talk about. On a student level, it's really just seeing students change their attitude and behavior about each other and about their own communities. I've had students, my Afghan students, who at the end of the program feel for the first time like they can make a difference in their communities. Before they had things that they saw were wrong and didn't like, but didn't necessarily feel that they themselves could make that change. And through connecting with other students and sharing their stories, they feel empowered to be able to be agents of change in their own communities. And with educators, some of my favorite success stories are the teachers who come back to me and tell me how much it's influenced not only the group of students that they've been working with in the program, but how it's influenced the entire school culture, whether that's through having the students who participate in the program share back with other classes, or through working with other colleagues in the school to implement different types of programs or to take pieces of our curriculum or programs and put them into other classes. And on the community level, I've been really lucky to get to facilitate some parent-to-parent video conferences specifically between our US and Afghan participants, which have come towards the end of the year-long program. And seeing the questions and the energy and the curiosity that the parents, and actually we've also had some grandparents who come to this, really shows me how deep the ripple effect is going, that kids are coming home and talking to their families and their friends about their experience that they're having participating in this virtual exchange program. and it does impact the way others in their lives see that place, especially in places of perceived conflict like the U.S. and Afghanistan. So I had this one Afghan grandfather say that he really wishes that the program could be expanded so that more children, not just his granddaughters, he had 2 granddaughters in the program, would be able to have this opportunity because it's really important for everyone around the world. So, with that, I'll pause for a little bit. I've been talking a lot. I have a tendency to talk quickly. And I'm happy to take some questions in follow-up, either clarification questions or anything else about our programs or about virtual exchange in general.
Does anyone have any questions?
I have a question. This is more of maybe a selfish question, but I'm a middle school science teacher. Do you have any idea or share an idea how I could use that or Global Nomads in a middle school science class, how I could connect my students?
Sure. So for this year, most of our year-long programs are already full, but we do have a variety of short-term programs that are coming up. We're actually going to have a whole series of webcasts about climate change throughout the course of this year, and I'm happy to get you on our mailing list, and I don't have the dates quite yet, but that was going to be one of my action suggestions. A webcast is a live stream panel discussion. They'll be student moderated. We'll have different schools that are hosting them, and there'll be a live chat function, so if your students are watching, they can also type in questions, and someone will be moderating the chat and feeding some of those questions to the panel of speakers. So that way it is still an interactive feature. And there'll also be a short curriculum that goes along with it to help you prepare with them. They'll have different themes. They'll be voting on the themes beforehand. Last year there was one specifically on trash and what happens to our trash and how that cycle of trash moves throughout the world. And I'm blanking on what the other ones were. But so that's a great example of something that I think would be perfect for a middle school science class.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions?
Just a kind of quick follow-up too from what I mentioned earlier, the dates and stuff like that. What kind of the process look like? I mentioned to them I started in November. I don't know if you could go into the why and how that. I mean, it was pretty extensive in my opinion, getting letters from the director and stuff like that. But it's paid dividends for me, knowing the structure that's in place now. So if you could go into the process a little bit.
Sure. So for our year-long programs, the application process generally opens in the spring, around April or May for the coming school year. And we try to not have it be too extensive an application process. It's a lot, some demographic information and contact information about you. That we ask for a primary educator who's going to be our contact and a tech specialist or person who will be assisting. We do ask for a letter of support from the school administration because we found really important in having an administration who's willing to let students, be a little bit late to their first period class or switch things around or use the equipment or open the school before school hours, whatever it is. If the principal's not on board, it can definitely be a challenge, as I'm sure you all know, working in schools. Then we ask for a few short essays, 500 words of why you want to participate in the program, how it will benefit your students, and how you'll incorporate it into either a class or an extracurricular activity that's happening at the school. And we ask those questions because we do want to make sure that the teachers who are getting involved are thinking about how to maximize the potential for the program. Especially the long-term programs, they're a lot of work, but I think that, as Brian mentioned, the payoff is really great. I think one of the things about prolonged intercultural dialogue or exchange, whatever it is that it has a exponentially multiplier effect in terms of the impact it has on student participants. And I'm sure you see this with your own students. If you talk about something once, it might resonate a little bit, but if you come back to it over and over, it sinks in deeper and deeper. And especially having this type of experiential learning and conversation with peers in a different part of the world, when it happens over a prolonged period of time in a safe and facilitated dialogue, it really deepens the impact on them. And it's important to have a an educator who's able to help them walk through that process and guide them through the different questions and challenges that come up. For the short-term programs, we also open application in the spring, and then as more are added, we're going to be adding some more in the next couple months. We do release those. We see those as sort of either entry points, maybe for schools who haven't worked with us before and want to test the waters, also as supplements for schools who are doing a year-long program and are looking for an additional resource, an opportunity to connect with a guest speaker, to bring in another topic. Or for some schools that really just that's the most that they can handle. But I think our year-long programs are really the most intensive and transformative experiences, both for the educators and for the students. I had something else I was going to say, but it slipped my mind.
No problem. Any questions? No? Well, Hannah, really quick, is there any, how would they stay in touch to find out when these pulse programs come up, or if they want to get involved for the next year? Is the newsletter the best way to go? Go back to the website? When does the information usually roll out?
Well, if anyone's interested and wants to give, maybe Brian, if you can collect emails and pass them on to me, I can put
Definitely.
people on our educator-specific listserv, which we do not over-blast. It really is just about program updates, and we try to only send like 1 or 2 a month. So it's. I promise we're not going to spam you. That's the great way. You can also check our website. And even though obviously I am here to talk about GNG, we're not the only organization out there that's offering these things, so I do encourage you to look into others. We're part of a coalition of Exchange 2.0 organizations that are doing virtual exchange, because really, as I think you all know just as well as I do, it's essential for our students to have these opportunities, to be able to develop these 21st century skills, to know how to communicate with people from different cultures, to work together, to create something, to communicate effectively with their communities, and that's really what's going to serve them best in life. So really, congratulations already on doing this with your students, and I hope that you can continue to find ways. If you can do that with Global Nomads Group, that's wonderful. And if you do it in other ways, that's still really great.
Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate you Skyping in from New York to Mexico City. And thank you.
Maybe next time I can come be there in person.
That sounds good. That sounds good. We need to do those kind of exchanges too more often with the kids.
True.
Next steps.
That's another topic. I didn't get into my spiel on the difference between physical exchange and virtual exchange.
Yeah, we don't have that budget or abilities just yet. Well, thank you very much again, and have a great day, and adios from Mexico.
Great, adios.
I really want to take the time to have her